is because, I mean, growing up, my family, we didn't really talk about money, but it was happening. You know, like my granny, you know, she said, put that dollar in the tithing plate at church. You know, we were feeding the community. We were showing up for the neighborhood cleanup. And so there were a lot of ways that this was showing up, but it wasn't until Claire had actually introduced me to Impact 100, and then of course I had my main job is fundraising, and so it wasn't until I started getting embedded in those roles where I was like, oh, okay, I am a philanthropist, okay, and then I learned how to say the word too, so that was the thing. But all that, it really gave me a chance to just be a part of it and really having this role and bringing more people into the fold. And what it also allowed me to do is, I know Claire will touch on this a little bit, but just talking about social capital and the importance of building that social network and connecting with women across different socioeconomic statuses and backgrounds. And so I really want to kick it to you, Claire, because I think, you know, what we need to talk about is like, if we're going to change systems, it's going to take a systems level approach. There's a lot of growth right now happening in giving circles. So tell us what you know, because I know you are well enough.
Well, I know what you all know from the pre-reading, right? We've been living this journey with collective giving and the growth of giving circles. 7,000% growth, 7,000% growth since 2005 to today of giving circles. That's people, a lot of women leading the charge there, and dollars out the door to our community through collective giving like this. And let's be honest, the idea of helping our neighbors and coming together and giving towards a cause was well before 2005. It existed for generations before that. But that kind of growth in that short amount of time has me holding attention of democratizing philanthropy through giving circles, and the reality that wealth is incredibly concentrated in our giving. So if you take anything away from where we're at right now, raise your hand if you're in fundraising in any regard, including a board of directors right now. Great, you've heard this a million times. Dollars are up, donors are down. Mm-hmm. Yep. If you are feeling that in this space right now, I would love to tell you you're not losing your mind, and just a sense of visualizing it, of the individual giving of about $400 billion in our most recent Giving in America report, 400 billion individual giving. Candace, Peg, and Tiarra, stand up. I'm not yelling at you. I didn't prep them for this either. I just saw that they were sitting next to you. 3% of givers represent 78% of that $400 billion that went through philanthropy. So 3% of all individual givers held 78% of those individual charitable dollars. That's what I mean when I say dollars are up, this is good. Thank you so much for letting me pick on you. Dollars are up in terms of coming back to pre-pandemic norms for philanthropy, but our number of donors and the concentration of wealth show that the number of donors are down. And that's an interesting tension. Democratization that you heard Jenny talk about and Tiarra talk about, against concentration, which makes what we're doing in this room even more important. So people do raise their hand and say, I am a philanthropist. I can get more involved. I can do that. I can join with my neighbors, my friends, et cetera, and give back to causes that matter. That's staggering to me to think about that amount of concentration juxtaposed against what we're talking about in this room. So to that point, nonprofits have had to shift too, right? Like their reality of benefiting previously from a broad range of donors are now making major gift donor stewardship and deepening a whole nother level. I have the distinct pleasure of working with a lot of donors and their philanthropic giving. The tension that they are feeling of the complexity of today is real too. So yes, my job tends to be making sure that grandma, grandpa, son, daughter, grandkids like each other when we leave the boardroom, when we make philanthropic decisions, that human capital piece of it, the complexity of trust-based philanthropy, the complexity of new giving vehicles, impact investing, on top of shifting financial flows and ebbs and flows of financial flows, is making this work complex right now. So if you are also sitting in this room and feeling like, oh my gosh, look at this growth, this is good, and also holding the tension of it's really confusing, I would like to validate that for you right now. So decreasing long-term volunteerism is something we have talked about. The fact that you're all showing up in this room today is amazing, and volunteering your time and talent. We know that while volunteering also has rebounded in the field of philanthropy, time, treasure, talent, tithes, and testimony, not just giving money, generationally, our younger folks want to be engaged at a different level too. So the state of philanthropy today of our young people, we have magnified giving, 6,000 youth just last year and giving out almost $250,000 in our community. BI3 just determining about $5 million in giving through the hands of our youth. If we're talking about what's happening today, we have to talk about what our young people are doing to engage as well, because that 3% of people that are giving that amount of money are older. So we gotta take care of that.